Hello everyone, welcome to the Jenkins Weekly Infrastructure Team Meeting. Today we are the 7th October 2025. Around the virtual table, we are the dynamic duo Damien Duportal and Stéphane Merle. I don't think we should expect others. Jay is in holidays. I think Mark is busy. Bruno is also off this afternoon. I don't know for Hervé, and Kevin is not available. So let's get started with the dynamic duo. Are you Batman or are you Robin? That's the real.
I'm the older one, so I will guess Batman, but I'll let
Okay,
you I'll
so
let
I
you
guess
drive
you
the
you
car.
are the one that brings kiddos in his cave. Okay, okay, fine.
Yes.
Um, let's get started with the announcement. So last week we were able to release Jenkins 2.530 and started on time, no issues. So you have the link to the conversation if you want to check the different steps. And this week the release 2.531 started on time. So far, no issues. So let's watch. It should be available in 2 hours. And we will be able to update our controller after that. On the announcement parts, proposal next week. I'm off, Jay is off, Mark most probably won't be available. That lets the poor Stefan here. So Batman won't be there, or Bruce Wayne, his alter ego.
Yes.
Anyway, my proposal is that we cancel the meeting next week and we plan for a milestone of 2 weeks.
Thank you.
So that's all. A reminder, we still have human change in progress, so it's still a bit slower than usual. We'll give you news when everything will calm down. Important thing we had. I'm using past because I'm an optimistic person. We had an outage today. An issue has been opened. Thanks, Stefan, for the help on that area. Looks like there is something weird going on Azure U Assist 2. Network issues with no obvious errors. And it took 2 hours to spin up two virtual machines to scale up the cluster. Now the outage is gone since at least 1 hour after we recycled and drained all the nodes to new nodes. So we are watching it carefully. No obvious change or cause, no peak, no dumb LLM system trying to scrap us. So yeah, really, we don't have proof for status update, but looks like Azure network issue. Usually when these happen, we have to wait 1 or 2 days before they give the post-mortem. So we will have to wait for closing the issue until we have proofs. On the infra roadmap, you have the link here as usual. We are focusing now that usage Jenkins has been migrated to Digital Ocean. The next logical step is census and then PKG. And we are also continuing to work on the Azure deprecation. The last urgent one has been done on this milestone. So that means like we are going to resume work on PKG. Maybe not this milestone because a lot of days off, but yeah, soon. These are the top priorities right now. Did I forget something in the priorities or do we are aligned? Or are we aligned?
No, I think it's okay.
Cool, thanks. Upcoming calendar next week, 14 October, no team meeting, but a Jenkins weekly release that should be 2.532. The day after, when I will be back at the office, Wednesday 15, we will have the LTS release 2.528.1. Hervé Lemur is release lead. We don't have any security release advisory, so fine by us. And in the upcoming 3 weeks, we will have two credentials that will expire. I've listed them. We need to create issues, but that will happen in the 2 past days of October, so we have plenty of time. We most probably won't take care of this on the upcoming 2 weeks milestone. Sorry. And finally, to complete the calendar, just a reminder, next major event where you will be able to meet team members will be at the FOSDEM 31 January and 1st February in Brussels, Belgium. Anything else on the upcoming calendar or announcement? Okay, let's have a look at the cloud budget. We are doing good on Azure CDF, like really good. We have consumed 1.2K effectively. So we are paying the efforts, or not paying the efforts, to be literal, we did on the past 2 months. The forecast is currently at 5.3. That forecast has high variability, so let's not rely on it. But yep, compared to last month consumption, we are clearly below. So that means we can continue decreasing the cost. That's a good sign for next week CDF budget. On Digital Ocean, nothing specific to say. We have consumed money. There is a new VM usage that is now in production, and we removed J training virtual machine. It's not needed anymore. So the forecast will most probably change, taking in account that census virtual machine will be created here. So that might increase the whole process. And yep, October will most probably be the month in which we should contact Digital Ocean proactively to check if we can renew the sponsoring for next week. Next year, sorry. Yeah, for next week that seems time constrained. I didn't have time to check the budget on AWS, but it's too soon to see the effect of usage in Jenkins.io. For sure, September might be a bit upper because we had 2 machines and data transfer. And October, I think, will be worth to check in 2 weeks. Nothing, no emergency, no alert on the budget here, so nothing to worry about. On the AWS sponsored account, we had a slight increase in builds in CI Jenkins.io. So we saw a slight increase. It's 12% higher than next month at the same date. The forecast is at 6.2. Forecast in September was at 6.1, and we effectively consume 5.3. So right now it's too soon to say that forecast is realistic. And it's okay. We have 13 months remaining at this rate in credits. So that's good. That means we should most probably reach autumn 2026 at least with CI Jenkins.io, so we are fine. Finally, on JFrog, September clearly show a decrease in the outbound bandwidth, which is a good thing, even though September is a 30 days and not 31 days. Anyway, that's more than 1 TB less than in August. So good job, everyone. This month, we have consumed 4.5 TB now. The forecast is at 19.9, unrealistic forecast as usual. So we are fine, no specific effort to have here. And we see a visible decrease compared to the past months. That's the message. Anything else on the cloud budget? Okay, so now let's have a look at the work in progress. This milestone, we were able to finish the following elements. In the platform sustainability of the platform, Stefan, is that okay for you if I let you the mic about usage Jenkins.io that we were able to close?
Yes, if you closed it, it means that you finished the cleanup that we had. So yes, the migration of the usage per se is done, meaning all the data and the CNAME and everything. We did solve the last bit of a problem with the certificate that now should renew by itself through Let's Encrypt. And that's another issue than the one that will bring the statistical process to work on that machine. But for now, it's just usage. Do I miss something in there? I
No,
don't
it's
think so.
okay. KK confirmed
Oh
that he
yeah,
was able
KK
to
confirmed.
reach. Yeah,
We
we
forgot
were.
one route.
Yeah, I was bitten on the VPN. I should have put the VPN in the list of things before cleanup.
Yeah.
But in fact, it's because both you and I had the older routes, and I forgot that KK only have selective routes, so we had to update his route and problem solved. All the DNS record have been cleaned up. The machine on AWS CloudBees is stopped. I've removed the
Oh,
snapshot we
yeah.
took, Stefan, because in fact there is an automatic snapshot system of the machine
Oh,
that
cool.
was put in place years ago. That's good. That's same for PKG and Census. Um, it looks like we don't have enough permission on CloudBees AWS account to remove these snapshot policies. So I guess we have to delete the volumes in order to delete the backups automatically. Um, I propose we wait for the
Yeah.
census migration and generating the stats at least once before deleting the machine.
Or maybe we wait for PKG to be gone and nothing left in the account to have
Yes,
it
even better.
trashed.
Yeah, and delete in all in the
Yeah.
account. Good idea. Thanks. On my side, I walked yesterday and I broke many things. I worked on the storage account depreciation that had to be done before 13 October. I love when Azure send you an alert 5 years before and then 1 week before. So 1 week ago, we had the alert, oh, you have to migrate all the storage accounts here. So 6 of them were okay to be deleted because these were all things you knew since years. Yes, years. That was the opportunity to remove. There were some automatic backups that has been complicated to remove in Azure as well. We have the permission, but trust me, that has been fun to remove. You cannot delete them with the delete button. That's not how it works, which is good. So you cannot delete them accidentally. You need
Yeah.
to be highly motivated to
You
remove the
give
backups.
a sample of your blood, and then you can. That's a
Oh,
good one.
that's not sufficient enough, not rich enough. So, yep. And the things I broke weren't the backups, but not my throat either. That was reports Jenkins.io, which was using V1 storage accounts. In advance, when we created the new cluster, we had both PVC on both storage accounts, so the publicates shift was okay. However, publication wasn't that easy because the old AZ command that was used in the pipeline library wasn't working with the V2 file share new technique, or V2 file share with an SAS token, which is not scoped. So everything in a storage account can be read and written, and it doesn't have an expiry time. So I had to implement the technique that Hervé did for us 1 or 2 years ago to generate a short-lived SAS token from an Azure Service Principal. So it's scoped to only a file share with just with an expiry time of 1 hour. We do that in Infra CI today in order to deploy plugins Jenkins IO or stats or docs. That works very well. But we had to change the reports Jenkins IO publication process that is spread between Infra and Trusted. So that has been done. I did the code from what Jay was able to build, but I forgot to do it at the beginning, so I was in quite a hell of debugging. I did that not really seriously, so now it has been fixed. I'm happy with this. The takeover here is that maybe the generation of the reports might have to move or to be split. Some reports are used by RPU and Jenkins IO, so they are vital for our ability to deliver the websites or generate the permission. So as such, maybe they should move out of InfraCI and back to Trusted where they used to be in the past. The reason why we initially moved them was because we were able to use job DSL and config as code on InfraCI, easier to maintain the properties. So maybe we should work on this for Trusted CI. The emergency part is done. We don't have any more deprecation, so let's focus on the priority at stake. Which leads me to Kubernetes 1.32. Nothing specific here. It just worked. And we were able to renew the RPU Artifactory token like every 3 months. By the way, we had an outage on artifact caching proxy on the CI Jenkins IO agent that started to answer HTTP 502. In fact, there has been a change on Maven Central. Maven Central was switched from Fastly to Cloudflare, which make TLS termination and unchecks way more stricter on Cloudflare than Fastly. That's a good thing, especially for the web. However, that underline a mistake in our artifact caching proxy configuration. There was one directive I thought was enabled everywhere, but it wasn't. And That means we were seeing issue where TLS was emitting some of the requests, less than 1% of our requests, but the one that were done the most often, that's the problem. And these requests are not cached and we're failing to establish a TLS check with the Maven Central. So we identified the issue thanks to the help of Olivier Lamy, who pointed us the Cloudflare change, and then it was a brace to understand, oh, the problem is most probably in TLS, and then problem fixed.
That means that
Thank,
we should see a decrease of bandwidth
not at
on
all
JFrog.
because not at all because it's not going on JFrog, it's going on the Maven
Oh,
Central
yeah, it's
backend.
Maven Central. So
And finally, we helped Adrien with there were what seems to be a bug in the Jenkins GitHub checks API that was telling a pull request on the bomb that, hey, you have these tests that are failing, even though only one build ran with success on all tests. So we just merged it, but yep, thanks Adrien for opening the issue that was important. Now work in progress, unless you have question on the done part. No, okay. Work in progress. So now the next priority is migrating Census Jenkins IO.
I will need your
Uh,
help to focus on that VM and know exactly what it's doing, what it's using, and how it's working. Not much data and documentation on that in the run books
mhm,
and
makes sense. So that will be one of our top priority now. Next subject on the platform, keep the platform up to date. The Jira LTS upgrade. We are slowly approaching the end date. So LDAP binding is good, confirmed by Ryan. And initial tests issues Jenkins.io private went well. WIP. So Ryan and Mark are working on a migration scenario. So since they confirmed they have a well-working empty instance with the new LTS, now Ryan has scratched the test issues Jenkins.io virtual machine, and now is importing the data from the production to replicate production. He's going to reapply the Jira LTS upgrade to see what it does with a real life dataset. So waiting from on news from them, but that's in the good direction. I will most probably will let Mark schedule unless he asks us for help. But I will let him schedule with Ryan since he knows better the Jira administration. Any question? Okay, and the support issue. So both of the previous issues are, we continue working on them, will be on the new milestone. Now, the outage today. Still watching the behavior, but should be back to normal. Got a close status Jenkins IO. Postmortem to write once Azure will have published their own status incident. Otherwise, we'll close with an half postmortem and off milestone. That's my proposal. If the 20 October, one day before closing the milestone, we don't have any information from Azure, then in that case, we'll have to know. I'm gonna open a support tickets to them though, just to be sure they answer. Next topic, we had an issue from Daniel Beck about GitHub Jenkins CI permission report, one of the infamous infra reports that wasn't updated since September 12. So we had many issues At least one was the first issue since 13 or 14. I triggered the build of two Packer images at the same time because one failed and we were releasing the new one and I wanted to have both. What happened is that the latest one finished its build before the older one. And it for the virtual machine, no problem, but it looks like that in the case here, I haven't checked the label we use for agent, but we might be using the latest tag because it was using a non-valid Ruby version. It was the previous Ruby version, which was failing immediately where at the first Ruby-V call, SDF was failing. So most probably the agent cached was having issues. After fixing this, then we discovered there were a Ruby HTTP error. After a certain time sending batches of requests to GitHub, the libraries we are using to request the GraphQL API on GitHub to retrieve the permission with get start to try to reuse a connection that were enclosed due to idle at TCP level. So it started to be end of file exception. Thanks, Avelomer, for catching this one. The solution, at least the short-term solution, works very well. Retry when we hit an end of file exception, retry 5 times with a delay between. That will force the TCP stack to to regenerate new TCP connections. I mean, that job run for 11 hours, so if it's 12 hours, no one cares. Which leads to the last problem we have now. It's so slow to run that we hit almost every day the spot reclaim session, which means it never goes to termination. So in order to fix that, my recommendation would be A, what if we use a virtual machine with no spot? Because all of our Linux agents are using spot. So yes, that will be something to have. In any case, the size of a virtual single machine agent on Infra CI and the size of a Kubernetes node in which we have a pod, both cases we have something always up and running. So let's use a teeny machine and be done with it. So one last issue, use non-spot agent for this one in particular. Um, we had a support requests for the docs Jenkins IO related to the new docs Jenkins IO. I gave the answer in the issue, made answer in the system. There should be nothing else for infra. Moving to backlog. So by backlog, I mean no triage. They will comment if we have something, but there are nothing here, but it's still worth to have the issue to track the work related to GSOC. Same for the failure to stage weekly, moving to backlog. We'll consult Daniel Beck for other details. But that one doesn't require anything else. It's just long-term planning and set of ideas written by Daniel. No news from them despite Kevin social post. Let's give one last ping or close the issue, assuming we lost the channel. I will also inform the Jenkins board if that's the case. Anything else? Okay, now CI Jenkins IO, I've grouped all the 4 issues. First, the pages are slow to respond when we are attacked by an LLM. WIP. Enabling mandatory authentication. Hervé is working on authorization setup with the Groovy Logsbox system. Initial pair just been opened. Sorry, Stefan, you were going to say something?
Exactly that. That's I saw
Cool.
that Hervé started.
Thanks. Open. I'm not sure if there are one or two N. So yep, we'll see. Since it has a lot of impact, we will take this. So either Stefan, when I'm in days off, if you want to start the review, try yourself. If you don't want or don't have time, no worries. That's not mandatory right now. That's not top priority. CI Jenkins IO is a bit more stable, or we suffer from less attacks for now.
It depends. Are you off every Friday? Because it's always happening on Friday.
Fair, good point. So let's say while I'm there, no problem, and then I'm not there,
Yes.
not my problem. Good one. Pipeline struck in RPU. Um, back to TryH, as we need to rework the multi-AZ setup on AWS to solve this. Which leads me to something that looks related or even duplicates. To do, disable spot instances on AWS for October and check the price impact. Because as written on the issue, since September, I don't know before, the price of the M5 instances we are
Oh yeah.
using is only 2 times cheaper in spots than the others. So given the amount of retries and capacity issue we saw, and additionally, since we had in September around $700 in spot and almost $300 in on-demand, which means we have consumed and tried a spot instance that failed, and then the system falled back on on-demand. So worst case, we will be at 1040, 400, and it should be decreased. So my proposal is to see if it helps on the Windows machine especially.
And you want to try that on the October while we're the 7th of October and the time to do that? Or you need one
Yes,
week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? How long the window to see the
disabling spot instances is a 5-minute pull request, and then we will have
yeah.
to watch the cost weekly. So
Yeah,
that's an easy
okay.
one before I go in
And
holidays.
we watch weekly the cost, so yeah,
Yep.
good.
And finally, PR on Jenkins/Jenkins CI has been merged. Thanks, Hervé and team. So I'm sorry because we are going to disable Spot. But yeah, in any case,
Did you plan that one? No.
we are going to disable Spot temporarily, but still useful whatsoever. No, I didn't, but yeah, I just realized while preparing the meeting temporarily. Okay.
I was correcting, but okay.
Oh, that's why I thought it was a bug in HackMD and my cursor.
No,
Thanks.
no, I'm the bug.
So yep, in any case, that one will be a candidate for closure next week. Time to verify that it's just working. That way, it's still open. Thanks, Hervé and team on this. Finally, on the triage, we have 3 issues candidates to be on the new milestone. So one, I think, will be closed. We had the transient DNS resolution, and no kidding, just after I saw the issue, there was an automatic pull request to bump with a patch bug fix version core DNS on the cluster. Just saying. So that one will be added in a milestone and closed because thanks Darren for opening it. But yeah, the idea was to let us know. I hope it won't happen again Friday, but we'll see. One is on the Azure costs. The bounds virtual machine is not needed anymore. as discussed with Daniel, I explained in the issue why we don't need that in our threat model. So, yep, one less virtual machine, less code, and less cost. Finally, on the Azure deprecation, so we have time, it's in 2028. However, we should start thinking about moving the standard disk to standard SSD or even premium SSD when needed. We have three cases as far as I remember. One is the bounds virtual machine. So we don't really care, we are going to delete it. We have the VPN that is using an HDD. We have until 2028. Otherwise, it will be automatically bumped to SSD. So I don't really care. I will get the cheaper machine as much as I can. Same for the Packer builds. They are using HDD. Eventually, using SSD on the Packer Azure image, at least the Windows, could help the situation on the speed generation. That could be interesting to try though. But the most important is trusted agent where we generate the update center. That one, as per the researches that Stefan and I did, shows that we have a lot of latency. So converting that thing, we expect to see either faster update center generation builds and or less CPU system usage that will allow us to decrease the size of the instance in order to compensate the overall cost. And that one will be worthwhile.
So either more builds or less cost.
Yep.
Yeah, good to take.
So that's why I'm proposing to add these three in the next milestone. All the other issue, including Kubernetes 1.33 and all the other, are going back in triage, unless there is an issue you want to work on. Yep, okay.
Census is good enough.
Makes sense. One last thing, I might create an issue regarding decreasing the size of the virtual machine used for, I guess, trusted and cert controllers. I need to create the issue and eventually Puppet, but that will be added automatically.
Do you
And
still keep in mind the migration of weekly CI on a VM on DigitalOcean?
Oh, I totally forgot this one. That could be
Because
interesting
if we
to schedule.
switch to on login for CI, we might have to work on parallel on that one.
Good point. Shall we start eventually, if since it's a 2 weeks milestone, if you and I have time to start working on weekly CI in parallel or after census, no problem to get it out of the triage and add it to the milestone, but only if we had time. Is that okay for you?
All right, perfect.
Cool. I think that's all for me. Oh, hello, Hervé. See, you were just there.
Yeah.
For once, we just finished.
Yeah.
So that means if you want to say something, you are welcome before we close.
Yeah, no, sorry. I arrived late.
No, no worries. That happened to everyone. Oh, while we got you, I'm sorry, but we might disable spot instances for October in CI Jenkins IO.
And that was not planned.
That was not planned. In any case, your contribution on the Jenkins pipeline will be helpful. Most probably, we will keep the label with spot and all the technique. We won't clean up the code. So CI Jenkins IO will think it's gonna spin up spot instances as per the labels, but the configuration will say the opposite. The goal is to see the impact on the capacity issues we saw on AWS to see if it's sustainable with the cost.
Okay.
The reason is because since what I told you in August about the 6 to 12 times cheaper, that was the case when we set up CI Jenkins IO on Amazon. But in September, last week of September, when I checked with Alex Brandes, the cost of the instances we are using is only twice cheaper.
Yeah, so we are losing the game.
No, it's still cheaper.
No, yeah, it's a bit cheaper, but if we have to restart frequently.
Exactly. The user experience is clearly impacted by that, and we have capacity issues. So that's not enough to justify. If we need to get on the cost, better to have one big machine and spin up containers on it.
Yeah.
And stop using Kubernetes and on-demand instances. That will be cheaper. That's all for me. Are there something else you want to
No, good.
discuss? Cool. So I'm gonna stop screen share and I'm gonna stop recording. So for people watching us, see you in 2 weeks. Bye bye.